Farmer Jason here at Wave Fruit Farm. I heard a saying the other day that I wanted to share with you because I think it's so appropriate for what's going on right now. February had 28 days, March had 4 months, and April had somewhere around 3.5 years in that time frame. So it's been a long couple weeks since this whole COVID-19 thing started, and we've all done a really good job here in Center County. Things have stayed relatively safe. So far as I know, not a single one of our customers have had this. And so that makes me feel real happy that, we've been part of the solution, and so have you guys. But that being said, we also need a little normalcy back in our life and a little bit of fun. And so normally this time of the year, everything starts coming in bloom. My flowers are pretty out here on the porch, and normally everything starts waking up, and our apple trees are no different. And normally what we do is we put you on one of our wagons out there at the far end of the parking lot, and we take you around the apple orchards to show you all of the apple blooms. Well, that's not going to be possible this year, but that doesn't mean we can't get out and do something fun. So what we're going to be doing here at Wave Fruit Farm is we are going to be doing an apple blossom pack. So what you're going to do is you can order online, just like all of our other groceries. Go to www.wavefruitfarm.com, and just like we have been doing, the store is still closed at this time to keep our employees safe and to keep you guys safe. So the store is still closed, but you can order all of our products at www.wavefruitfarm.com. Go to the e-store for local, and 100% of our items are on that. You can shop and get anything you want out of our store. But what you can also now get is our apple blossom pack, and I just have 2 of the items that are in it. What we're going to do is you can come here to the farm, order your blossom pack. It's recommended, though not required, but it'll have donuts, it's going to have soda, it's going to have some candy, some potato chips, and of course apples in it. And it's just a fun pack to take as you start your tour of our apple blossoms. And what you're going to do is you can take a walk, and we're going to do this whole tour with you virtual, and then you can come do it live. So what you're going to do is you start here, get your blossom pack, choose a soda like the Good Autos root beer, or we have about 12 different sodas, and you can start munching on your goodies as you take a drive. And I'm going to show you where we're going on the drive. I'm going to narrate it for you, and what you can do is you can either watch it and sort of remember where you're going, or you can literally watch it live, so long as you're taking careful driving. Watch it live and pause when you want to get out and take pictures and things like that. But I'm going to help narrate, explain a little bit of the things that go on in our valley, a couple of the people that are in our valley, as well as show you where to go on this tour. So, all right, everybody hang with me as I switch to my trusty old beat up truck. All right, see you very shortly. All right, now I'm in my truck here at Wave Fruit Farm, which is where we're starting off the tour at. I've got my blossom bag from the store, and we're gonna take my old trusty truck and we're gonna start heading out. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna head out of our parking lot. Ooh, nice bright sun this morning. It's a beautiful morning. And something I forgot to mention is the fact that this is open starting now, and it'll be open until all of the blossoms are gone. And we have no idea when that is. The first trees we're going by here on our left are Ida red trees. They're gonna be the first ones to bloom. They're going to be the first ones to come out, and we can walk through those here in a little bit too. They're close enough to the store we can actually walk through those, and so that the blossoms are going to be on their own schedule, and so I recommend doing it sooner. As the season changes, different things about the season will change. Now the first property, as we cross past our lane, the first property we're going by here is the Halls. The Halls have been in the valley very long, just like the Ways. That house, we actually have a picture of that house in 1916 posted in our cafe, where you can actually go up and look at it on the wall of our cafe once we reopen. And we have a picture out Smith Road looking at that when Smith Road was a dirt road, and that house was really, it was even old back in 1916. So that house has been there a long time. I don't know the exact length. We're now going by Eddie Brown's farm. The Browns have also been longtime residents of the valley. They do a lot of beef cows. And so you can see all of their cows out in the pasture. And then the next place we're coming by is Sammy Gray's. Sammy, the Grays, the Ways, and somewhat of the Halls have been some of the longest term residents of this area. The Ways, the Grays, and the Halls all moved to this area and basically started this valley way back in the 1820s. A lot of these families, I'm not sure if theirs go back as far, but the Ways have been in this valley since the 1820s. They were At the time, were Quaker immigrants moving up here, trying to move out of the Philadelphia Quakertown area for a little bit better life, and moved up here and started what has become, you know, this valley, Half Moon Valley, as well as Way Fruit Farm. So where we just went by, Beckwith Road, which takes you over to Port Matilda. We're now approaching Orchard Road, aptly named because of the fact that it has orchards on it. That road has had orchards on it since the 1870s, which is when we started orchards, and so the road was chosen, the name for Orchard Road. And so it doesn't really go anywhere except for around our orchards, and that's why it's perfect for this tour. And so we're going to turn on Orchard Road. You can see it says Orchard Road. This road has a speed limit that's pretty slow, so we ask that you do respect the speed limit. You know, and it's a beautiful road to drive up. There's some very nice houses along it, some older houses. Most of this area is no longer farmed for, you know, farmers. It's more horse people and everything else on this road. But our valley is full of farmers, and that's why we took you by both the Grays and the Halls, which both have beef cows, which is very important that we live in this area that has a large variety of places to get local food, because, you know, if beef becomes short, you know, we're blessed by being surrounded by a lot of beef cows. You know, we get our beef from Scott Brown, who actually farms some of our ground. I'll point out some of the fields that he does. His farm is on the other side of the mountain from us, and you know, he does a great job with beef. It's probably the best steaks I've ever had. So anyway, now we're coming through sort of a little wooded section, and what it is, we kind of call the top orchards up here sort of Way Valley. The mountain comes up in peaks, but actually then sort of fans out, and that's where most of our orchards lie, is in this little fanned out portion. And so once you start reaching back out of here and come out into the sun, this is where our orchards begin. And on your left is our cherry blossoms. This is our cherry orchard. And so if you're early in the tour, these will be in beautiful bloom. If you're later in the tour, they might be done. You know, they'll last for a couple days, but then the leaves will start falling off, the petals will start falling off, and they'll go into a state called petal fall. And so they're just absolutely gorgeous. You know, right now they're in full bloom, so if you come early, they're going to be the best showing. Now we do ask that you do stay out of the orchards. You know, we are in there trimming and mowing grass and everything else, so for safety we ask that you do stay sort of on the road edges here. You know, you can definitely look in, but don't try to wander around them up top here. If you want to walk through the blossoms, the bottom will. Now, these are called orchards 6 and 7. Our apple blossoms, you can see through the fence here, are on dwarf trees, and this on the left as you came up is orchard 6 and 7 from us, is how we reference them. The bottom part was cherries and plums, and the top part's going to be apples, and they are on our dwarf rootstocks. They're beautiful trees. The ones you're looking at are actually Lodi, McIntosh, and Golden Delicious. And on the far orchard way up on the hill, we're going to have Honeycrisp, Gala, and Fuji. So sort of a cool thing. Then it goes back into woods, and that's our orchards on the left. Everything else is going to be now on the right. And if you hear, I have my 4-ways blinking because I am on a public road. This road is not heavily used, but still you should take some caution to making sure that everything is okay. So now on your right are McIntosh and Granny Smith. The road right here switches to gravel. That's okay. It's well maintained by Worth Township. What happened was we just switched from Half Moon Township to Worth Township. And the Half Moon portion was paved. The Worth Township portion is not paved. And so a little wooded section here. You know, our orchards are sort of blended into the mountain. You know, the mountaintops are actually the best for orchard growing because of the fact that in the spring, the cold air drains. You can kind of see we're well above here, and it really drops off. And what happens on those cold spring mornings is the air will drain off these mountaintops and drop down into the valleys. And so we might keep up a couple of degrees warmer on these mountaintops, so that can make the difference. And it sounds like over the next couple of days we're going to be dealing with those cold temperatures, so hopefully all of our blossoms do okay. Now on your right are McIntosh trees and Red Delicious and Granny Smith trees. This is Orchard 5 by our nomenclature. These trees have been here since the mid-90s. In Orchard 6 and 7, the ones we just went by, those trees were planted in 2012, 2013. And so these trees here are going to be a little bit older. These are from the mid-90s. When you're actually here in person, it looks a little bit better than what it does on my screen. And so you just look through the fences, and it's just a really pretty tour of all of these things. Now we're going to come down the road here. Again, on your right, still the McIntosh end, and we're now just looking at Granny Smith blooms. And on the far side of that is the Golden Delicious trees that we have. So we're going to come down the mountain here. We're going to hit Beckwith Road. If I would continue straight, it would drop me down into Port Matilda. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn right. And this is going to take you back up past our orchards. Now, I do ask that you use a little bit more caution on this road. This road is a little bit more heavily used than Orchard. But this road gives us really good views of what's going on. We're going by Golden Delicious trees. Then we have our Gala trees that are going to be in full bloom very, very shortly. Then we hit our Cortland trees, which are also in full bloom right now. All of those were planted in the mid-90s. Then we hit our brand new trees. Now I have a real wet spot right here in the beginning, so they haven't grown as well. But as you go out there, they grow really well. And this is where I have some of our new varieties, such as the Evercrisp, some more Fujis. We have our Zestar, which is a new variety. And then these are Honeycrisp Fuji. And then our Ambrosia, which is a brand new variety. And then, so those are our little trees. And then beyond that is our peach orchard, which they're actually getting towards petal fall already. They bloomed really early this year, so that the orchard up behind the grass is our peach orchard. And then on the left is our oldest orchard. These trees are from the mid to late 80s. And so these trees are a little bit older, except for some brand new Honeycrisp that I have planted in the middle that are on a brand new rootstock. And they also are a redder version of our Honeycrisp. And then we go past Stamens, McIntosh, and Ida Red trees, and they're all starting to fully bloom. And then we're going to go back down this mountain road, and it's going to take us back down to 550, which is where you'll turn left. And once you turn left, it'll take you back to Wave Fruit Farm. At that point, when I turn left down here, I'm going to leave you for a few seconds to be back to the farm, because I've sort of already narrated a good chunk of that. The one thing down here that I forgot to show you was the Grange Hall. A lot of you have heard of the Grange Fair. You might not realize, but the Grange Fair is put on by an organization called The Grange, which was specifically designed for farmers and rural people. There's one of our signs to turn left ahead. The Grange was designed for rural people to have sort of a meeting club, something to do, and get off the farm and meet as a group. The Grange here in Half Moon Valley has been here for a really long time. Don't ask me exactly how long, but it's been here, well over 100 years. It's going to be on the right over in there. When we were going the other way on 550, I'm going to turn that way, although you're going to want to go that way back to the farm. You're going to want to take that left and go right back to the farm, and that'll take you, and then we'll go into our next part. This is the Grange. I forgot to give you a little bit better view of it. It's the Half Moon Grange. The Waves were very involved in it back in the day, and it is still part of the group of Grange that puts on the Grange Fair. They have regular meetings, and it's a neat organization that has been around for a long time. So that is my part of the driving tour. Now we're going to go back and we'll show you sort of the trees in Orchard 1 and sort of where you could walk. All right, we're coming back up towards the farm. Right there is the Half Moon Valley Animal Hospital. If any of you have animals, an extremely good clinic for animals. Heard a lot of great things about it. Many of our customers absolutely love it too. So right now we're going to be pulling back into the farm, and what we can do is we can now put down our donuts, put down our goodies, and we can go for a walk. We have this massive parking lot out here that is available for parking in. Now, the one thing I ask is that you don't go down by these boxes. On the far side of our wagons, those boxes are our bees, and so you do not want to mess with them. So I do ask that you stay away from the bees, just because they can be a little bit feisty at times. But anywhere in here we can fit 4 rows of cars, And so what I recommend you doing is just parking here, and then we're gonna go for a walk across the road. Now, as you cross the road, be careful, as well as once you get across the road, be careful because of the fact that there can be holes and branches. It is an orchard. So I'm gonna cross the road and I'll start back up over there. All right, so it's crazy windy out here, so if it's messing with my microphone, I do apologize. So the very first row of trees up there, well, the very first field is strawberries, then we have Honeycrisp, then Gala trees. We normally do U-pick on the Gala trees. This field in between is going to be for strawberries for planting this year, so we're gonna do that. And then we come up to our Jonagold, which are just starting to bloom in the early part of this. And then we hit Northern Spy trees. Northern Spy are a fan favorite of some of our customers. People love the Northern Spies. They're hard to produce. And as you can see, like everything else down here is in blossom already, except for our Spies. And you can see how green all the other trees are. And the Spies, not so much. Why? We can't seem to figure out. You can see how they're starting to get a few blossoms, but you can just see how much less vegetation these trees have. Why? I can't quite figure out. It just seems to be Northern Spy in today's environment. And so one of the reasons that we ask you to use caution and stay out of the top orchards is right now, you can see our one tractor is going up to mow some of the brush. In a previous episode, we showed how we use that brush mower. But that's why we say down here, we're gonna make sure that it's safe for everybody to be in at all times. Again, watch the crossing the road and watch the groundhog holes, but we're not gonna be down here working in this orchard. But our top orchards, we are, you know, we sell a lot of fruit. We have to produce a lot of fruit. And so with that, you know, we have to be working in those orchards to make sure that we have the fruit come the fall. So we're up there in those orchards working, so that's why we ask you to stay out of them. All right. And so right now, if you come out in the early side, just like I said, the tart cherries were ready to bloom. Our Ida red trees, these are our standard big old trees. They're gonna be in full bloom here. And by tonight, hopefully, if not by tomorrow morning, this field that you see plowed behind me is going to be sweet corn. You'll see plastic rows out there, and that's gonna be sweet corn. That is on my list to do today, or at least by tomorrow morning as the soil dries up. As you can see, our tractor going up to our orchards and so that's why we ask you to stay out of those top orchards, just because we are in there and we're working in those orchards. We're not working down here where you guys can take a walk. And what we ask is when you're doing this walk that I just went through is that you do socially distance, you know, and try just to, but enjoy yourself and just enjoy the blossoms, enjoy the sun, just have a good time. Let's just try to do something that feels normal and isn't, you know, Netflix or at our house. So we enjoy it. I hope all of you enjoyed this idea that we came up with, you know, and we'll just see how it all goes. And, you know, hopefully here in the next little bit, we can get back to some level of normalcy. All right, thank you all for participating. Thank you for watching, and you know, good luck and enjoy spring.